Now, the managing consultant, Fagamore Business Solutions Africa, Mr. Alaba Olushimara, joins us from Lagos to discuss the impact of the Dangote Refinery on SMEs and large enterprises in the country. You're welcome to the program today.
Good afternoon.
In wrapping my mind and our minds collectively around how big of a project this is and the scale, I looked at the information that it's 3 times the size of Victoria Island, and that raised a major eyebrow. I looked at the fact that Alhaji Dangote himself says it's bigger than the other large and humongous refineries in the world, such as the one in India, the Mangar Refinery, that produces 1.24 million barrels per day, the Port Arthur Refinery in Texas, that produces over 600,000 barrels per day. Now, given that this is a developing nation and it has occurred, how big of a deal is this for Nigeria and Africa?
Well, it's a big deal for Nigeria, particularly in terms of the area of employment generation. They spoke about 150,000 jobs. But I also believe that it's going to be much more than that. There are people that will be around that community to provide employment for those who supplies, contractors, suppliers, consultants, and of course, there also be skill acquired. Our graduates, our youth that went to the university to study petrochemical engineering, they have now a place where they can actually do their CWEs or practical experience, and of course to practice their trade after graduating. Of course, it's also going to help our industrialization. Got many petrochemical products spring out of that factory. What about people who will build houses around that community? Because those are going to work that they will need houses. They will need services like food and beverages, like hotel accommodation, are going to be provided. Of course, you know, it also brings its own challenges. We also expect that in terms of foreign exchange, they're able to conserve our foreign exchange because we will export our crude cheaply and we import an expensive finished fuel. And of course, that would be reduced considerably. And I also believe that by and large, you know, over time, the cost on average Nigerian may reduce, all right? But I also expect that overall the economy will bubble. Of course, we also expect some challenges. You know, people moving to Lagos to come and work in those factories. So there will be some other urban challenges. And I also believe very strongly that it also poses some security challenges. So we expect that security in Lagos State and particularly that axis will be beefed up because it's a security asset within the country. So it's really in various ways in employment, in industrialization, skill acquisition, in housing. You find that Nigeria will benefit from it, particularly also Lagos State. There also be the challenge of transportation, traffic around that corridor. These are things we also need to look at. Because if those trailers are going to go there to go and load, it means that we have to look at our road network to ensure that it can actually help. Road network is provided in such a way that there won't be any traffic congestion around the Victoria Island area in Lagos here. So it's a huge investment. And of course, I also believe that it's an audacity of vision. Somebody is committed and of course is able to see through. What government cannot do, they're able to do it. The concern is that maintenance culture, right, you know, become like our public refineries. They were burdened for many years, and I were not able to maintain. So they have to have a good maintenance culture. Now, of course, the issue of spare parts, skilled technicians that have to maintain the facility must be available. But overall, Nigerian economy, it boosts Nigerian economy, need Lagos State economy.
These are interesting points that you raise, especially the way of the challenges you've just mentioned. But let's get to the elephant in the room. As a matter of fact, let's get rid of the elephant. Let's send it back to the game reserve. The pump price of petrol. Will the Dangote Refinery coming on stream translate to Nigerians being able to buy petrol at a very low price and other products?
You know, this thing is a matter of demand and supply, and this is a private organization. You must understand that they have to buy the raw materials from NNPC. At what cost are they buying it? At what cost are they producing it? What are the additives? Where are they going to get the additives? Are they going to import them? And they have to pay foreign exchange. And of course, what are the opportunities of selling? They are not philanthropic organization. If they can sell at the neighboring country or other African countries, and of course they can sell and at a more expensive rate, they would gladly like to do that. It's a matter of demand and supply. I also believe that as we are jubilating over Dangote Refinery, the idea that I have, been talking about for several years, issue of modular refinery, should also be considered as quickly as possible, particularly the incoming government. Let's look at that area. Because when you have this kind of elephant project, 1, 2, 3 years, it functions. After that, there could be some challenges. Right? So we also need the modular refinery. So the more refinery we have, the more the supply, and the more likely that the price will come down. But I can tell you that in the short run, the price is not likely to reduce significantly.
Could you elaborate on that for 1 second? Because I was under the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that the reason why petrol and the price of it is high in Nigeria is because we're making oil, we're refining it outside the country, and we're importing it back into the country. Therefore, subsidy, therefore payments, therefore it's translating to the high price of petrol and other goods. Could you, in just a few seconds, just tell us why this is so and how Dangote will affect it? Although we've run out of time, but in as short a time as possible.
No, what I said is that it depends on the price at which they acquired the inputs from the NNPC, the crude. If the crude, the price they are selling is not different from what Nigerians sell abroad, then there will be no difference. But if they are giving a concessionary rate, obviously we expect a reduced price in the pump price of petroleum. So there's a lot of pricing rejig by NNPC to ensure that the price that's given to Dangote will take account of the benefit that we accrue, right?
Okay, we'll have to leave it there, though. Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Alaba Olusemore, Faga More Business Solutions Africa, the managing consultant, for coming on News Across Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.